Judy Martin, and I've been trimming points ever since I cut and sewed my first pointy patch 40 years ago. And about 20 years ago I came up with a rotary cutting tool. Here it is, the point trimmer. And you can use this to trim points on your rotary cut patches. Why should you trim points? Well, trimming points has several advantages. It helps you eliminate bulk in the seams and eliminate dog ears and minimize show through of dark patches through the light ones. But the main point of trimming points is to help you align patches for perfect piecing. Let me show you some examples of how trimming points can help you with your piecing. Here we have a dog tooth border that I didn't trim the points on, and you'll see the little dog ears that stick out. That makes it hard to follow this when you're stitching the seam, because it's sticking out and making you veer off. Here are the triangles that this is made out of. This one has not been trimmed, so it's got pointy points. And when I try to align it, it's difficult to tell when I have it in the right place because the points extend beyond the other patch. When I trim the points, however, now note that this one hasn't been trimmed. It would end here if I had trimmed the white point as well. But this point and this point wouldn't be here either. It ends and it ends here. They would end even with each other, and there would be no question where is the right position for the patches. Now let me show you a square and a triangle. Now the triangle extends beyond the square, and it's difficult to know where you have it properly aligned when the points haven't been trimmed. Once you've trimmed the points, it's obvious when you have it aligned because the two patches end at the same place. And it doesn't have to be squares and triangles. It can also be octagons and triangles. And here we have an octagon and a pointy triangle, and it's hard to know where to stitch it. And here we have one with the points trimmed, and the two patches end evenly. So it's obvious where you align it for stitching. And finally, we have a square and a diamond, such as you might have in a Lemoyne star. And once again, it's a little bit hard to tell where to put it when the trims haven't been done. But when I've trimmed the points, I can align one end, and the other end just, you don't trim the points on a square because they're not pointy, but the trim on this end will help you align it, and you just let this fall where it will. And that's all you have to do. Trimming points will help you with your alignment and make your sewing better the first time you stitch it. You won't be a second time because you'll stitch it right the first time. When can you use my point trimmer tool? Here, let me show you a few examples. This is 2 half square triangles, and the point trimmer works perfectly for that. It works for quarter square triangles. Here I've already trimmed the points. It works for diamonds, parallelograms. You can see I've trimmed one point and I haven't done the other yet. And trapezoids of both, I call these half trapezoids, though they're technically trapezoids, and the full trapezoid as well. How do you use the point trimmer tool? It's really very simple. Let me show you. First, you cut out your triangle with the points are already included. So you've got pointy points on it. You leave, if you cut through a stack, you leave it in the stack. You can cut through at least 4 layers. Then you align these converging lines of the tool with the 2 adjacent sides of the patch, and you cut along the edge of the tool. And there you have it. The amount that extends beyond the tool will always be 3/8 of an inch, so you'll always have a little triangle like this that you've cut off. Notice on my point trimmer tool, the A, the B, and the C's, these are different trims that you'll use in different situations. Now, the B and the A are very similar, but notice how if you look at the triangle here, the A trim is parallel to the sides. These two are parallel and these two are parallel. And in the B, the trims are perpendicular to the long side of the triangle. The C is on the edge of the tool and only has one line, not two lines converging. It has one line and the edge of the tool converging, and then it makes two little trims on the corner. Now, all this makes the tool much more versatile and useful than other point trimmers. However, you may be a little confused about which to use in which circumstance. And if you don't want to think about it, just always use C. C works for everything. Now let me show you another way you can tell which one to use. This is my book, Patchwork Among Friends. And here we have a pattern. And I always trim the points on my patterns. And all you have to do is lay the tool over the trim in the book so that the converging lines of the tool line with the lines of the template, and then you can see, oh, I used the B on this template that's actually called a B. On this C, I'll use the A. I don't have that quite aligned. There you go. On the C, I'll use the A trim and cut off along here. So I just know I'm going to use the A on the C and the B on the B. And that's one easy way to tell. The other thing you can do is make a sample patch and by trial and error see whether you use the A, B, or C trim. And I always recommend making a sample block anyway, just to make sure you've cut everything out right and your seam allowances are accurate. So let me show you an example of a Virginia reel block. And here, we showed you this before. The triangle is difficult to align when it's got its points. If I use this is the B trim. You can see this is the B trim, and if I use the B trim, I can easily sew this triangle onto this square. However, as you progress with this patch, now the B trim doesn't work. It sort of works because underneath this you can sort of see it, but it would be more helpful to have the A trim here. So you'll notice these are different ends, but the A trim works better here. Now, you don't want to be, assigning certain patches to be sewn on first and certain patches to be sewn on second. So what I recommend doing is using the C in this situation, because it can be used for the early part of the patch here, and it can be used for the later part of the patch here. With the C trim, there'll be a little piece missing. Like, for example, there's a trim right here, but I just ignore, I align the ones that align and I ignore the little tiny bits that don't align. And that's all you have to do. Try point trimming. You'll enjoy a new confidence in your sewing, and you'll avoid a lot of frustration and seam ripping, let me tell you.